Happy New Year, fellas. Happy 2023. God damn, it feels good to be back with you guys after a couple week layoff. Hopefully, everybody had a good Christmas, holidays, and New Year's, wherever you were at. Friends, families. I was out in Denver where it was colder than shit. I mean, high of 0 multiple days in a row, dipping down into the negatives at night. But yeah, no, it's always good when you're around, family and friends having a good time. You know what was one of the, family and friends thing aside, one of the good things about being out in Denver and had this first feeling when I moved to Chicago, and then, after like a month or so, it just kind of becomes your life and you forget about it. It's the start times for primetime sporting events when you move off the East Coast. And if you've never moved off the East Coast, or if you haven't caught a game off the East Coast, I don't know how the hell you guys stay up till midnight. When I was living on the East Coast, I could never make it to East Coast. Then I get the luxury of traveling to Denver. I'm catching primetime games starting at 5:30, 6 p.m. Hell, I'm catching the late night games out in Denver. Man, it was really reminded of how awesome it is to live off the East Coast, and you can make it to the end of the game. So just fantastic stuff really throughout that entire, like I said, holiday season. So again, hopefully you guys had a good time with family and friends and what have you. What about I wanted to talk about the NFL, but let's just do like a quick little 30 seconds or so, just a moment of silence here for Damar Hamlin, and then we'll get into some NFL talk. All right, let's so what about NFL Week 18? We've got NFL Week 18 coming up, guys. And what do you think about teams that are charging late in the season? And when I say charging, I'm kind of nervous about the Chargers. They've got Joey Bosa back. You pair him with Khalil Mack. That's what everybody was excited for, in the preseason. Headed into that season was that great defensive line by the Chargers. They're picking up steam. They've got Justin Herbert. What about Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers? They've been shitty all season, but you get nervous about these teams that are catching steam, that are playing hot towards the end of the season. I'd be nervous facing the Packers right now if I was in the postseason, if they're able to knock off the Lions come this Sunday and they're able to get in. It's still Aaron Rodgers, folks. Who's nervous? I'm not scared about those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll tell you, nothing scares me about that team. I think they got lucky to get by the Panthers this past Sunday, because you know what they won't face in the playoffs? They won't face a Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's god-awful. I mean, you get that fumble late in that first half to gift the Buccaneers 3 points, the interceptions that he had in that game. I'm not worried about the Buccaneers. And then you got the Patriots just doing what the Patriots do, and they're just hanging around. If they can somehow get a win in NFL Week 18, they slip on into the playoffs. So the NFL playoffs, or the conclusion of this NFL season, is going to be wild. And teams that I thought that I weren't nervous about, I'm completely nervous about. Like I said, Chargers, Packers. It's going to make some nervous time. So, hey, guys, let's make sure we go ahead and recap everything. We'll do it abbreviated because, obviously, like I said, it's been a couple weeks since we've been around, but I always want to be honest and want to be transparent with everybody and kind of talk about how everything's unfolded since we've been apart from you guys. So let's just throw up the week of Christmas, and we're not going to talk about the notable wins, the notable losses. This is just to be transparent. You can obviously see we made almost a couple of units the week of Christmas and really kept our hot streak alive, with that hot streak of being 3 straight weeks of profit. So good stuff right there. Let's now do what we normally do on a Monday, which is always recap NFL Sunday. And then, of course, we always recap the NFL or the whole last week. So let's throw up NFL Sunday. We did fantastic right there in that Browns versus Commanders game. You can see we hit under 20.5 points to be scored in that first half. You can see down below we hit a couple player props. Robinson over 75.5 rushing yards hit in the third quarter. And then Njoku was under, so it took the entire game. But I think he only had 1 catch for 21 yards, if I recall correctly. So just on fire in that game, going 3-0. We were tripped up by that Eagles first half against the spread, -2.5. Just got outplayed by the Saints, and that's certainly going to happen sometime. So that was just a good old sports betting loss. What about Panthers +4? That one, I still feel a little sick about that Panthers +4. Like I said, Darnold, with just the shitty play that he had, and do you want to guard Mike Evans? Like, how many times are you going to let Mike Evans burn you for a touchdown? That's all they've got. You can't let Mike Evans and Brady start hooking up and getting that chemistry going. So Tough stuff right there, dropping Panthers +4. I thought they were going to straight up win the game, but to also lose Panthers +4, really bad stuff right there. We did come back with a nice three-legged money line parlay. Chiefs, absolute sweaty going against the Broncos. And then, still don't understand, and we were on the right side of that game, but how does Russell Wilson, when he gets tackled there by Chris Jones late in that game, how's that not a penalty in today's NFL where they're protecting the quarterbacks? I guess because he didn't fall on him, but he picked him up and slammed him. I mean, it went our way, but that could have kept that drive alive for the Broncos, and it was already sweaty. That could have really added to the sweat, but the Chiefs came home, knocking off the Broncos. 49ers get it done in overtime against the Raiders. Shouldn't have gone to overtime. Should have made that field goal at the end of regulation, but they get the job done in overtime. And then Giants against the Colts. What were they? I was watching Red Zone, obviously, because the Bills, were in action Monday night, so then I get the luxury of watching NFL Red Zone on Sunday. The Colts haven't scored a touchdown at like 30-some plus straight offensive possessions. Oh, my God. They got to make sure they fire Jeff Saturday and bring in a real head coach. That guy is absolutely atrocious. Moving on to the NFL player props. Rodgers over 253.5 passing yards. Love that one from a stats perspective because obviously I decided to put 2 units on that one. And we're just, obviously the blowout hurt us, right? Because then they transitioned from not having to throw the ball to running the ball. But then you would think, looking at the score, okay, Rodgers had a good game. No, they got that 105-yard kickoff return that took away a full possession from the Green Bay Packers. They had an interception return that took away a possession away from the Packers. So, I mean, those are two possessions you're straight up robbed of. And then, again, you get the blowout. Tough stuff right there. Knight over 55.5 rushing yards. That's the Jets running back. Out of nowhere, Ty Johnson became running back number 1. I mean, go look up his snap count. I know I've shared that website with you guys. If you look up his snap count, Ty Johnson's not running back number 1 in New York, and all of a sudden, the day we decided to back Knight, he becomes RB number 2. I mean, tough stuff right there. Mentioned Robinson, Goddard in that Eagles game, under 42.5 receiving yards. He ended the game with 45, so we were right there, just unfortunately on the wrong side of that one. Then Kelsey over 74.5 receiving yards. I think he got 39. Man, I'm really surprised given how close that game was. Obviously throughout all 4 quarters, they didn't use Kelsey more. Really, a head scratcher. He got 6 catches for 39 yards. But, man, with the Broncos and how they struggle against the tight end position and that game being close, really, really a head scratcher right there. So that was NFL Sunday. Obviously, we were down on the day, losing the 2-unit play and what have you. But that doesn't mean we were down on the week. Nope, we put together enough good bets throughout that entire week to once again go ahead and ring that cash register at plus 2.14 units. And now up on the year 2022, we closed 2022 plus 129.36 units. Yes, sir. Love to see that right there. What were some of those good wins from last week? How about Liverpool on that money line against Aston Villa, getting a nice 3-1 victory? Never in doubt. Raced out to a 2-0 lead and held on 3-1. We also hit their team total last week. That was the parlay with Brentford over a goal. And then Liverpool over 1.5 goals. That was the match against Leicester where they got 2 own goals in the first half. If you haven't seen those are actually comical. The second one, people who believe sports are rigged, that gave them some more ammunition because I don't know how he just didn't clear that off the end line there for a corner kick. He kicked it right in his own net. So they only scored 2 goals, and it was all because of our man there, Leicester center back, getting us to 2 own goals. So appreciate that one. United team total, that was a good game against Forest where we had that parlay with Holland, anytime goal scorer. They demolished Forest. And in that game, we did anytime goal scorers. We took Rashford, Martial, and Anthony. All 3 of them at plus money. We got 2 of the 3 to hit, so that turned a nice, real good profit in that game. Pacers against the spread last week. 2 times last week, we backed them as a dog. And we didn't need the points in either one of those games. They won those games straight up. So love to see that right there. Same thing with the Warriors. We took them at plus 3.5 points. They also didn't need the points as they won the game straight up. We dabbled in some hockey last week. I think this guy's name is Yossi, if I recall correctly on how to pronounce this guy's name. It's the classic angle. Who's playing the Ducks? Okay, we'll just take a couple players and go over on their shots on goal target. It's a good strategy. We did it last night. We'll get to last night's recap here in a second. We went to it last night, went 1-1. It's a great strategy. The Ducks, we talk about it. They're just allowing by far the most shots in the NHL. So he gave us good plus money cash right there. We did hit a little soccer and basketball parlay last week that put a good couple units in our pocket. So anytime you make one bet and able to score multiple units off one bet, yeah, that's going to go ahead and be notable. And then again, we mentioned going 3-0 in that Browns-Commanders game. Tough losses last week. It all started off with that Cowboys first half against the spread. We had Cowboys minus 6.5. They've got the ball late, up 10-3. You think the drive's going to end, and then you get a penalty on the Titans' defense. So it's now like, okay, now they don't have to punt the ball. This is a lock. Like, hell, there's no way you can lose this. Oh, interception by Dak Prescott gives the ball back to the Titans. One pass of like 20-some yards, sets them up for field goal, and the half ends 10-6. Tough loss right there. I thought that one was really unkind to us. Panthers +4 was really unkind to us. Rodgers and Knight mentioned those. United team total, that was the one against Wolves over on this past weekend. We had over 1.5 goals. Rashford gets a brace, and then VAR takes away the second goal due to a handball. Man, that's frustrating because I still believe if that's a defender that makes that handball, it's not a penalty. So I thought that was tough run right there. And then Rockers against the spreads. Y'all will not be giving out any Rockets bets anymore. This is the second time this season they've burned us from the 3-point, and that team just clearly shoots the ball from 3, and that's all the hell they want to do. So it's kind of like the Duke Blue Devils. I remember when I was in college and I watched college basketball. To me, Duke Blue Devils are always like they live and die by the 3. Well, the Rockets ain't hitting the 3. They don't adjust, and they don't shoot 2s. They just try and shoot their way out of it and keep shooting 3s. Well, they did that the other night, and they weren't making them, so we went down quick with the Rockets and against the spread bet. But hey, as that bottom of that tweet says, we ended 2022 with 4 straight weeks of profit. I told you guys we're going to try like hell to put money in your pocket over the holiday season, and we were actually successful with that, obviously going 4 straight weeks. So love to see that right there. I do want to go ahead and throw up another tweet because I've been only on YouTube for the past 2 years sharing bets, and the numbers of actually what we've done have been weirdly the same. And before I sent that tweet out, I was like, all right, let me go through it again and just to make sure. And if anybody wants to check me up, go through my tweets, go through every Monday, someday playlist if you want. You'll come out to the same numbers, 122.36. It is weirdly the same number basically as 2021, but we're kicking ass. We're kicking ass. And as that tweet says, just want to thank you guys. This wouldn't be half as fun. This wouldn't be anything without you guys. So I appreciate you guys, and let's just keep making money, right? Let's go for more in 2023. So that's what we want to do. So, all right, guys, let's jump in that comment section, see what you guys are fired up with on this great Tuesday morning. And yeah, let's get after it, boys. We got Adrian going in with Arsenal, Newcastle, both teams to score minus 125. Probably hits if I had to take a guess. I really don't know how Newcastle didn't score against Leeds, though. I watched that match. I mean, Leeds is so leaky. Newcastle at home. Maybe Newcastle's having a little dip. Okay, if they don't beat Leeds, it's like, okay. But to not score against Leeds, that was an ultimate head-scratcher right there, Adrian. But, yeah, I think still Arsenal, Newcastle, both teams to score probably hits. I like the better bet of Arsenal on like a draw no bet if you're looking for a parlay piece. I just don't see Arsenal being tripped up. I do not see them. At worst, I think they draw. I don't think Newcastle's better by them, especially with this game being played at the Emirates. I think Arsenal at worst draws. I'm not going to be too... I'll be a little surprised if Arsenal keeps a clean sheet, but God dog it, they've been good. I mean, they almost kept a clean sheet against West Ham. A questionable penalty gave West Ham a goal. That defense for Arsenal's been good. That both teams' scores could be really, really sweaty, so just be careful with that one. Happy New Year to you, Thad. Happy New Year to you, Brian. Happy New Year's, Adrian. We got another one coming here by Brian. Real Madrid and I assume that's Valencia. Both teams have scored. Those two teams aren't playing. I got a 5-unit bet on Real Madrid, and they're playing some shit team from the 4th tier. Valencia is playing another team. I looked it up. I think they're in the 5th tier of. I'm not taking it. Real Madrid's playing a team in the 4th tier. And Valencia is playing, I think, a team in the 5th tier of the Spanish division. I'm not going both teams to score on that one, Brian. You can't get me to do that. You love Mountaintop. I know, man. It was so cool. The first night I was there, I was like, oh, yeah, we're getting basketball starting at 5:30. I loved it. By dinner time, I'm already cashing bets. Yeah, I love that, DeGent. Absolutely love that. I am scared of the Packers. I mean, thankfully my team's in the AFC, but I think the Packers... I think they're legitimately somebody you could be scared of because of Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, they're catching obviously great play right now and catching that momentum, which is what you want in the playoffs. Like, I'd be more scared of the Packers than the Eagles right now. Eagles are trending down, which is obviously not what you want to do at this time of year, and the Packers are trending up. I would rather place the Eagles in the playoffs right now than the Packers. I still think the best team in the NFC is still the 49ers. They prove it week in, week out. They get wins. I still like the 49ers overall, but I'm putting the Packers right up there. If they're able to just knock off the Lions and get in, it just means they're going to keep playing good football. They're going to keep hot. Packers making me a little nervous. You're taking the Lions spread against the Packers. What a great game that's going to be. I believe that one's in Detroit. That's going to be a good game. What is it? Probably, let me look it up. It's probably Packers. It's in Detroit, I think. So I'm going to say Packers minus 4.5. Let's see if I'm right. 4.5-ish. Let's see. What is the line? I think that's Sunday Night Football too. Packers 4.5. Yeah. And it's Packers 4.5. Yeah, that's about what I would put it at. Packers winning the game around 4-ish. Yeah, I would go under 2.5 more in that game, Thad, with Newcastle and Arsenal, more than both teams to score. You couldn't get me to bet both teams to score in Arsenal and Newcastle. Between those two bets, I like that of under 2.5. We've kind of talked about it, Matt and I, on our preview shows, whether it was this season or last season. You just see under 2.5 cash and clashes with top six, exactly like Dad's saying. Anyone know a good place to check out NFL contract incentives going? Tim, great point. Obviously didn't have it in my notes to talk about it today, but it will be an angle we will be playing this Sunday. I will find the link because it's something that I know I'm going to be betting pretty heavily. And you guys everybody remembers the famous video. The most notable one, there's Rob Gronkowski, right? He's on the sidelines and he's like, yeah, Brady, I need a catch to get $1 million. And what do? They run some essentially a wide receiver screen to a tight end, and Gronkowski gets his one catch and he makes $1 million. That is the angle, Tim. That's the only angle to play in NFL Week 18 in terms of player process. Who the hell needs X amount of production so they can get the big incentive? Love where your mindset is at, Tim, and we will be all over that. I will try like hell to get it for you because it's already in my mindset to go ahead and play that angle. So. And appreciate the kind words there, Degent. Love cashing with you guys. That's the best part about this is cashing with you guys, and want to keep on rolling in that. Let's go ahead and throw up that recap there from last night. We only had 2 bets. Obviously, everybody knows we had more bets. We had bets, obviously, for Monday Night Football. I had some personal bets. PointsBet has already voided the bets and given me the money back. DraftKings is still pending. FanDuel is still pending. Barstools and BetRivers is still pending. I didn't have a bet at MGM and Caesars, so I don't know what those 2 sports books. At this moment, I only know of PointsBet that has refunded bets for Monday Night Football. I mean, everybody knows the status of Damar Hamlin. DraftKings and FanDuel is going to come along. That's why those aren't on the recap. The only bets that otherwise we had was in that hockey game against the Ducks. Again, just play the angle of the Ducks allow a ton of shots. There were a ton of shots in that game. One of our guy cashed, the other one didn't. We got juiced out just a touch. And then we made $14.77 in arbitrage. The reason it's more than maybe what I tweeted out yesterday is we had a free roll last night, Monday Night Football, $12 free roll on PointsBet. That gets refunded, so we now have that $12 back. We made a $2.77 bet arbitrage using the hockey gift promo yesterday. So you add that. That's how you get $14.77 in our pocket. That's how we do it. All right, let's go ahead and throw these bets up on the screen, fellas. We're going to go ahead and start with soccer. We're going to go ahead and just do one game. I would love to bet Arsenal, Newcastle, but I think that's just the game I'm just going to sit back and watch and enjoy and really see if Arsenal can keep going. Is this title race over, folks? Is this title race over? You had Newcastle and City slipping points. Newcastle against Leeds. City can't beat Everton. Newcastle just keeps on clicking. I'm going to sit back and enjoy that game and see if Arsenal can get it going. Arsenal's looking goddamn good. The only real bet I really look betting is Leicester Fulham over 2.5. You go look up season-long trends. You look up home and away trends, recent trends. This game should have goals. I like putting my money in good betting situations because then I can live with the result either way. Let's hope we get the good result. Let's hope we get goals as the stats and trends suggest. So we'll bet that one accordingly of over 2.5 goals at minus 128. And then I'm going to this Copa del Rey match, Real Madrid, team total over 2.5 at minus 140. It's a 5-unit play for me. I have no idea why this is minus 140. I'm actually curious. I made that bet at Caesars. I'm going to pull up my phone now. I'm kind of curious what the line is today. When I price shopped yesterday, obviously that was the best price. Everybody else was around minus 160 yesterday. I'm curious what Caesars is at. And then I'm going to pull up the lineups because I already had a couple people say, well, Real Madrid's going to rotate. I'll show you a website that's got their predicted lineups. Where is it? 2.5? It's minus 175 today. Yeah, so Caesars has now gotten their head out of their ass and joined everybody else, which is in the minus 160. If they've gone from minus 140 to minus 175, those minus 160s I saw yesterday are now minus 180, minus 190. So we're definitely on the right side of that one, as we should be. I got questioned yesterday. Not questioned, but, guy, if he's going to put 5 units on it, he does want to know what the hell I'm thinking. This is the attackers for Real Madrid based on this website. Is really bang on a pretty line. You're going to get Hazard. Well, he was at the World Cup. Rodrigo. Oh, he was at the World Cup for Brazil. Asensio. Okay, was he at the World Cup for Spain? Either way, I love Asensio. Tchouaméni. He had that fantastic strike against England. And then Camavinga, hell, he came on in the World Cup final and completely changed the game and really helped France get to extra time in the penalty shootout there against Argentina. So we're talking, they're doing rotation. You're not getting Vinicius. You're not getting Benzema. Okay, we're getting other dudes that were in the World Cup against a 4th-tier Spanish side. I understand Real Madrid has a terrible record in this competition, but they don't lose this early against a side in the 4th-tier Spanish competition. You're still getting World Cup caliber players. Give me that team total over 2.5 at minus 140. Love it. Don't even have to think twice about it. Probably won't be watching it. Can't imagine that game's on TV. We'll just watch the cash registers come in and we'll collect our money on up. Let's go ahead and jump to the NBA. I got one bet for you guys that you don't know about yet. Well, you guys do know about that Kings Jazz under 243.5 at minus 110. It's a 2-unit play. And I know you guys will say, well, they just played the other night and there's 251 points. Well, that was because it was in Sacramento. You got to take in where these guys play. You take Sacramento or you take the Kings out of Sacramento, they score 9+ points less a game, and they also hold their opponents to 4 less points per game, and the Jazz don't really get a bump at home. So, yeah, I'm not scared, even though there was 251 points being played the other week. Give me that under 243. I got the game scored at 234. There's other websites that's got it projected around 237, which was the highest prediction I saw out there of a couple websites I use. So even at 237, we're still well under 243. So that's why that one's a 2-unit play. Not only with my numbers, but other things. It's well under 243. So yeah, give me that 2-unit play. And then within that game, there's only 3 NBA games. There's not a lot of advantages, but there's a great advantages here with Sabonis going up against this Utah Jazz center. Look, the Jazz get you kind of 2 good things here with this. They're really weak against the centers, but then they're really good against the point guard. And that's their 2 best players, right? De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. Well, they should limit De'Aaron Fox because that's what they do against point guards. But then they should continue to struggle against the center position. And in that game just last week, Sabonis went for 28 and 11. He went for 28 points. We only need 21 tonight. There's actually on Barstool's, Bet Rivers, PointsBet, they've already got this number in FanDuel, they've got this number at 21.5. Only 2 books have it still at 20.5. That's BetMGM and DraftKings. It's going to go up to 21.5. They're going to join those other books. So go ahead and jump on that one with me. Let's talk about that Jazz, though, against the centers. They allow 57.1 field goal percentage and 16.8 rebounds. It's gotten tremendously worse in the last 2 weeks. It goes to 82.8 field goal percentage and 17.7 rebounds in the last 14 days. Mentioned they were good against the guards, so that certainly helps us by maybe limiting De'Aaron Fox. It's cashed in 8 of his last 14 games. He's heating up as the season's gone along. He averaged 13 points in October. He averaged 17 points in November, and in the month of December, he averaged 21.7 points. So Sabonis is coming into it here as the season progresses. So it's really the only advantage tonight in the NBA, and I think we get a really good advantage, actually. So we'll go ahead and bet that one. Sabonis over 20.5 points tonight against those Utah Jazz. Back to the comment section, and then we'll wrap things up on today. God damn, it feels good to be back, fellas. Feels good to be back. Let's see what Adrian's got. Bovada game, gave me my money back. Okay. Okay, good. That's another site that's giving some money back. Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know. More of these legal U.S. bookstores haven't, but it's only a matter of time. So that's why I didn't put it on the recap. It's only a matter of time, and hopefully that guy. Obviously, I think I've told people my wife's a doctor, and we're watching that last night, and she's going really deep into medical terms that are, quite frankly, above my head. But just to watch her be extremely emotional and nervous as hell for Hamlin. Yeah. Damn. Hopefully this guy comes out of it. Hopefully he comes out of it. The scary shit. Absolutely scary stuff right there. So, all right, no other comments, fellas? All right, let's do it, guys. We got a big card. May only have 4 plays, but we got a 5-unit play. We got a 2-unit play. Thank you, guys. Feels damn good to be back with you guys. And we'll, of course, be back tomorrow because the train keeps on rolling now that the holidays are over. All right, fellas, lock these bets in. You're betting on Newcastle to win with Arsenal to score. Woo. Yeah, it doesn't. I didn't bet that game, so yeah, good luck, man. That is, I love it. All right, Adrian, good luck, man. You want both teams to score and a Newcastle win. Wow. Let's get a look at something for a second. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. I will wish you good luck. All right, fellas, let's go ahead and end it right there on today's show. All right, guys, again, thanks for being back. Thanks for hanging out. Go enjoy your Tuesday. Lock in these winners. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at the cash counter a little bit later on. Have a good Tuesday.